This is a story about the action man, beach man that had a plan, a simple man. Take a stand, not afraid, run fast as you can. Beach culture. Beach culture. Beach culture.
Well, if you know Brian, he's a unique character. You know, he's an individual, and he brought a certain flair with him naturally.
Anyone who knows Talma knows he absolutely single-handedly killed the word action.
So guys like Brian have been a huge impact on the sport and really helpful for young guys like me.
I think Brian made a really solid impact on the sport by showing people what it's all about.
And then he was obviously an iconic figure throughout all the years of professional windsurfing through the WSMA and the PWA and all the pro years in the indoor, and still going strong.
Up, stand up, paddle, one oar, one man, have a plan, paddle across the line.
Life upon earth, yeah, it all began from about 6, 7, very young, with my father up at the crane on Barbados, the island of Barbados, where I grew up, born. Took me to the beach and rode on his back on a wave, and from there, that's where that passion of the sea really became part of my life. By like 8, 9, 10, I started to surf. In those days, surfing was a full-on outcast sport. We were up in the South Point. You know, we were a group of fellas, maybe 40, 30 fellas, all surfers. But we were outcast from the Bajan society or the Barbadian society because we looked different. We all had bleach blonde hair from the sun. And we used to cruise around the island on skateboards and just roam free and wild life. So surfing was the beginning. Then we switched to windsurfing, all of us. The reason I switched is because I just loved it. I thought we had more opportunity for what I wanted to achieve. And a group of us got the opportunity to go to Gran Canaria and compete. We did really well. But also what happened there is our look within Barbados, we were outcast, but what there proved the way we looked really worked to our advantage, not just doing good on the water, but for image base. People liked the look, and we realized that. And from there, from that event, I realized I want to become a professional windsurfer and get paid to play and travel the world and experience this way of life and party and just go free. I used to go to school up at large school, up in the country, and all I used to do, suck cane and try to get back to the beach. Every time they had a cricket match, and if you're not from the Caribbean or in the cricket countries, cricket lasts for 4 or 5 days. When you're again 4 or 5 days to go and watch cricket, we were at the beach, you know. I was dyslexic, and that's where I have a difficulty spelling and reading. So what happened, my mother and father realized that, and I had to go to school especially for dyslexics in New York, and that was a difficult time because all I knew was my world was Barbados, and I went to this boarding school which was very strict, but what I say, for 2 years I spent studying, really put my head down, and it gave me the ability to go to college because I had a big gap, and without the girls' school, I would not be where I am today. Yeah, so the reason I chose to go to Eckerd College is because it had a windsurfing program. It was near the sea, so I, again, focused. Everything, the whole focus of my life was ocean, getting back to Barbados and living this lifestyle I love so much. So what I did was all of my courses I designed around opening a shop or doing something with windsurfing, kite surfing, surfing, or this lifestyle. My brother introduced me to Hawaii. I went with him. He was going to school in California, so I cranked the action over there. I was going to school in Florida, so I met up with him and we went to Hawaii.
You know, I've known Brian since really early on in the 80s when he and Kevin first came to Oahu, and they were living in Waikiki and raking the beach early in the morning, you know, to make money, and they would drag their gear to Diamond Head. After that, they're waking up at like 4 in the morning and, you know, raking the sand in front of a hotel to make money and then going to Diamond Head and sailing there. So really a long time.
Throughout my whole time in college, I used to go to Oahu to compete and to train, and I did really good in Diamond Head and all the events over there in the pro division and also just pro-am events. After school, graduated from college, came straight back into Barbados. A man had pulled out the Olympics. I'd been training in Florida for 4 years, doing course racing, and there was opening to go to the Olympics. I snatched up the opportunity, and I went to the Olympics, Seoul, Korea. Did really, really good considering I wasn't accustomed to that type of boards, and it was crank action. But at the same time, again, I'm focused everything on windsurfing and this lifestyle. I had the opportunity to open up my The Action Beach shop in 1988. Right after the Olympics, I came back and graduated from college. I came back here and opened up the shop. What it allowed me to do is to sail all day. And they had a brand here that's now starting out, and they said, Brian, we want to put you on tour. I said, you want to put me on tour? I couldn't believe it, man. The dream started, man. Fully on a tour. First year out of college, first time on my shop. But the key was I was always focusing on that vision. We used to go through the Caribbean, into the USA and into Europe. Had many events, did all the Caribbean events, did really good. But then what I did is start to have events here in Barbados, on the Action Beach right here in Barbados. And started to do good in those and brought some of the best people around the world to Barbados to experience our windsurfing conditions here.
Or tops, wobbling.
In 1991 was when it really started to take off. That's where things really went to another level. I came third in the Hawaiian Breakout, which was the biggest event to date for prize money. I'm against Dunkerbat, no problem.
Now you're up against the madman from Barbados. What are you going to do about that?
Try to beat him. That's about all my plan is.
Talma picks up a big wave on the outside, and he is carving it up. Talma looking for a takeoff ramp, and he goes for a very high forward looping, scoring major points there. The man from Barbados is in great form. Dunkerbeck wins the Hawaiian Breakout, Randall ends second, Talma third, and Cabrinha fourth.
I beat some of the best windsurfers in the world, and I had arrived. I wasn't just going to events, I was going to events and doing well.
When we went to the awards party, there was can't remember, it was an Outrigger hotel in Waikiki or such, and Craig Yester, one of the old windsurfing guys from Hawaii, he said something very remarkable and special. He said, well guys, we had a tough time, like it has happened in many windsurfing competitions. No wind, no waves, everybody got impatient, But we had a young guy here from the Caribbean who taught us all a really good lesson by showing us how you can be in a good mood, how you can have a lot of fun, and he showed us what windsurfing and all those competitions are all about.
And that year, I think I came first in the event here. I came fifth in Grand Canaria, all top 10 finishes, and had a top 10 overall in the wave performance section, and that's where my professional career really took off, and I started again the international sponsorship and to really be a force to be reckoned with on the professional windsurfing wave circuit, and more so to live the dream.
Yeah, man. Welcome to Barbados, where the action is. Let me tell all the people around the world.
My appearance became one of my greatest assets. That's why I look at life. You always got to look at what you have and not what you don't have. And that's why I say, I didn't have it here in Barbados, but I took it international, I had it.
With his sun-bleached blonde mane starkly contrasted against his dark features, he set the world of boating alight in the past year with his wild sailing style, his determined professionalism, and yet all mixed with that unique Caribbean attitude. And he's even added his own catchphrase to the sport, known everywhere as the Irie Man.
So my image base, the way I looked, and my ability to compete in the waves allowed me to be one of the personalities on the professional windsurfing tour.
Now, Jaws is an amazing place. It's there's a lot of big waves in the world, but that's one that just has something special about it. It's very accessible. It's pretty easy to get to and ride. It's pretty defined, but man, it's got a lot of power. And if you do the wrong thing in the wrong place at the wrong time, it can beat you pretty good.
In those days, it's not what it is today. It was, a few fellas out there riding the waves. But the wave is big, really big. When we drove out there, we saw Jason Pryor go over the falls and get pounded. I was like, wow, there is really big. But you know what? You're in a boat and you only one place to go. Everybody else is going out, so you go out too, man.
They were the biggest waves I've ever seen in my life. I grew up in Hawaii and have been around waves all my life, and those were the biggest I've ever seen.
You think it's a small wave, but then when you look at the pictures, then you realize what you're dealing with.
Yeah, man. Let's go, man. Don't relax. Let's get some action. Let's create action. Let's be in another place. Splash, splash, splash. Another wave.
The scary part was it's such a perfect wave is that you become too much at ease. At first I was really scared, but as time went on, man, I was just dropping in and holding on the line and enjoying the ride. Because it's a perfect wave, it was really nice and flat in the pit. But when that barrel came out, it came over a thunder bang, man. The spray almost knocked you over. But I would say it was one of the heaviest experiences of my life, riding Jaws. Jaws is one of the most intense waves. And I just went out there by myself. I didn't have any big sponsors in those days, I think. But at the same time, I remember John came and said, Brian, we are who keep and he looks and said, Brian, guess what? The shot of the day. I said, what? He said, you. I said, what? Me? So that particular day, I got a shot of that day, man. I got a perfect barreling 50-foot wave and me going in the bottom turn. And that was one of my best shots ever.
Not afraid to fail. I'm as there. I'm spinning. I'm twisting. I'm a clouds around me. I'm as.
Myself and Robbie Seeger and Josh Stone, we were a part of that committee that really put the rules together and put the vision together for freestyle as being a prominent part of the windsurfing scene.
One thing about Brian and I, we were used a lot by our sponsors as promotional guys, so we went a lot to promotional venues. And that's where the idea of freestyle, the whole freestyle concept really was born. We were going to these promotional venues, like in Podersdorf in Austria, as just, one-off sailors going for promo, and seeing the impact that it could have locally when they saw that kind of action in their local spot.
We were really excited, and freestyle brought a lot to the sport.
That whole freestyle thing opened those venues in Europe, and that opened a whole new chapter to windsurfing.
Right at the same time when freestyle was going on, a lot of other things were going on. And what was going on during the freestyle time was a flow ride tour.
Anyone who knows Talma knows he absolutely single-handedly killed the word action. It's amazing. He's a classic guy. You know, he sort of typifies Barbados. I was with him and we were in Germany together. They had a flow rider that they set up there, and you know, and a whole bunch of different guys. But Brian always stands out because he's just laughing and smiling, and he's always stoked. So it's cool.
I would say that was the best action experience ever, because we had fellas like Tony Hawk, Kelly Slater, Christian Fletcher, 16 of the best riders coming on this tour, going from Dubai to South Africa to Munich to Germany, to all over the world. In Florence, we were on the Michelangelo Plaza and just riding the perfect wave. And just the personality of Christian Fletcher, I would say he was one of the most dynamic personalities. But then we had fellas like Jason Pryor that joined the tour with me. We were windsurfers, and we were, at first when we were at the bottom of the ranking. By the end of the tour, Jason Pryor and myself, we were cranking the action. We were dominating the action. Jason almost owned the wave. Whenever anything broke down the wave, they always called Jason Pryor to come to fix it. When they wanted entertainment, Jason and myself were there entertaining the crowd and cranking the action and riding that wave. In 1996, 97, I got hurt really badly in my foot, which pulled me back a lot, and from there I created my own travel log, going through the Caribbean, travel stories. I'm really focused on image. And at that time I also created my Beach Culture World Tour.
Yeah, man, let's go, man, don't relax, let's get some action, let's create action. Let's be in another place. Splash, splash, splashing up the waves, that's what I want to hear, that's where I want to be. I want to take you on a ride to electrify body, mind. Do you understand?
So what the Beach Culture World Tour is about, the tour is about taking this lifestyle, windsurfing, surfing, kite surfing, paddle surfing, taking it around the world and really taking it to the people. And it was a one-man show, Brian Talma, going to these events. If it should be Sicily, Italy, if it should be Russia, it should be anywhere, South Africa, the Maldives, Brian Talma taking this lifestyle. Kiting has been around for a long time. I remember going to the gorge, and they had Corky. I told me the early 90s, we had Corky. We used to do the blowout. First man down the river wins. So we're down those days, this fella, Corky, had like a ski, and he'd be kiting down there and beat everybody, all the windsurfers. But in the early 90s, nobody really paid much attention to it. Then I remember in the mid-90s, I remember Corky came on the professional windsurfing tour event in Silt, and we did some interviews about promoting kiting and seeing the possibility where kiting could go. So when I was in Hawaii, you know, Robbie Nash was coming off all his kites in the beginning, and I went to Robbie and said, you know, I want to be part of the action. And again, you know, going back from the early 80s or mid 80s, working in the shops, Robbie said, you know what, Brian, he sponsored me and gave me a whole line of kites from what, the 7 on. In those days, you had like 20 kite size kites, had all the kites, all the boards, and I was in the action, man, promoting the sport and taking the sport to another level. And you know, it was good to be linked up with Nash because they were the pioneers of the sport of kite surfing and played a real important role for kite surfing internationally. And just to be part of the action, I was happy as day, man. But in those days, there was no lessons, no nothing. We swam and did a lot of swimming. Going from here, 5 minutes out, kite fall, and swimming miles down the coast from the action beach towards Oystins area. 5 minutes of action and maybe 2 hours of swimming. I remember just hanging out at Hukipo late evening. I remember I saw the fellas push off there from Hukipo Beach down through the path, and out through the break. And from there I realized, you know what? And once I saw them maneuvering through the channel and then started right away, and from that moment on I realized, you know what? This is the action. And I brought it back to Barbados, the sport, stand-up paddling, and got fully into the action.
The awesome thing about SUP is it's for everybody everywhere. Every lake, river, ocean, bay, grandma, grandpa, little kids, families, to top professional athletes, everybody can do it.
At that time, nobody believed in it, nobody. Went to the mission in Holland, went through Germany, went through Hamburg in Germany, went through all through England, introducing the sport in these particular destinations. And I was glad that I had the sponsorship and the ability to go into these places and use it. At that time, they didn't believe in it, but let me tell you, they changed their mind now because paddle surfing is now, I would say, one of the fastest growing action water sports in the world.
So it's a big sport already. It's going to be a much bigger sport in the future.
So when I came back to Barbados and I started paddling right this way, paddle from this way down 7, 8, 10 miles, paddle 16, 20 miles, I paddle coast to coast. And then I said, you know what, Brian, I'm going to paddle around Barbados. And at first I didn't even think it was possible. I didn't know if it was going to happen, but I said I'm going to try to do it. What happened was the next day I woke up and I said, you know what, Brian, today is the day. And that was the day. So I just packed up 6 granola bars and some water in a backpack. But you got to put this paddle into context. And that's why after windsurfing Jaws, I would say this comes next when it comes to adventure. I had no media, I had no communication. It was just me out there in the middle of the ocean. I got to the most eastern part of the island. I said I'd go from up at like Ragged Point area, and I cut straight across to the north, which will leave me about 2 miles offshore. But when I got halfway across, a thunderstorm begins to build. I just see some dark clouds. I said, I cannot believe this. Lightning, I always see lightning down Bashford. Wind switches to full offshore wind, gusting wind. I could not paddle directly in the wind, had to edge off. I paddled like 2 hours trying to get close enough back land into the safety. This paddle was full of adventures. After that, running out of water, running out of food, smelling the restaurant starting to open up around 6 o'clock when I was on the west coast, coming back up home side, coming up through to the Action Beach here and going around back to home. And when I got back to Long Beach, I just came back to pitch blackness. I said, man, that was easy, man. And, you know, I did it. And I was pretty far all of a sudden. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a shark. I don't know what, but I had some big splashing behind my board. And from that point, I said, boy, Barry, it's time to head in, man. Early on in my career, down in the 90s, a man once said to me, a journalist said to me, Brian, you know what, I want you to write some of your feelings down and write a little story. But what I did was, when I was writing it, what I came up with poetry or words or spoken words. I spoke and told my story, my lifestyle, beach culture as being my way of life. Everything revolved around the sea. So in my shop here, the Action Beach shop, all around it are different sections of my life. It should be the PW Tour, or it's down Last Man Standing, the South Point days, or it should be or whatever the action may be. Those are the words on my shop, painting through my perspective, this way of life, and how I view it. And that's what I've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years, really focusing on the art, but more so even further back down, creating designs, to create t-shirts. And as you see in my shop, and in my art gallery up here, and the t-shirts in the background, all this is a way of life where I am telling my perspective, not using, if you want to say emotion or still, but using painting my feelings of what it feels like to be in this position, if it should be stranded off the eastern part of our island, or it should be paddling around the island, or it should be surfing down the Action Beach, windsurfing off in the corner down this section. All these, I paint my feelings of what it feels like doing this action. So the future. Yeah. What? Okay. I gotta say one more thing and we go. Another drink? Yeah. You think it's funny, huh? I understand. How many drinks they have? This is you here. So the future now for myself, Brian Talma, is to continue the Beach Culture World Tour and also to promote this way of life, but also to be stationed here in Barbados at the Action Beach Shop and expose visitors coming from all around the world to come to my homeland, experience my beach culture through the music, art, and these sports. And at this beach, which I'm glad to have the opportunity to operate off of, is for them to come here. And what we have here at this Action Beach, we could do everything. We do windsurfing, kitesurfing, paddle surfing, you name it. Entertainment, everything. So you would come here and get real, authentic beach culture from myself and my crew here in Barbados. But then we take it, we package it all up, we put the paintings in the suitcase, all the action in the suitcase, t-shirts, conch shot, and then we export it, expand, and break the barriers and go where no man goes, and that's where I want to go. If I say idea and everybody agrees, I'm going in the wrong direction. If I say something and nobody agrees, that's where I want to go, where people don't understand or cannot see. And that's where I want to be, where they cannot understand and not see, and that's where I see clearly. And I clearly believe where I'm going into the future, it will provide. And that's why I say provide for all my children and my family. And that's why I say the art, music, the t-shirt designs, go to the next level, way of life, and that's where I go, to the next threshold where the oxygen is clean. My father always wanted to be a fisherman. He loved the sea. I came along. I love the sea too. He became a dentist. I love the sea. And I fulfilled my dream. Become a professional windsurfer and living out the dream. And that's what life is about. Finding that passion and then moving towards that passion and following your destiny. So the new vision can become a reality. Action.
Happy, 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 happy as can be. Happy, 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 happy as can see. Brain, brain smiling inside the brain. Happy, 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 happy as can be. Happy, happy. This is the rhythm of the sea. This is the rhythm of the sea.